Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. Check, we Ric Flairing on them niggas. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairing, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops and find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry for spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on them niggas. We Ric Flairing on them niggas.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing, son up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack, Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man, A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the SWAC, pull up where you at, no cap. If the Brody is speaking the soft facts, my advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeants are with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he off of the leash. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walk it, cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
Man, I keep trying to tell y'all I got the best theme song on YouTube. I don't care what you're talking about. Don't care what you're talking about. Best theme song on YouTube. Hey, shout out to you guys for being in here. It's your boy Scotty, and you know what you're watching. You're watching Off Script. And today is the day. You already know it's the Roundtable. And I got, first up, you already know, I got the boy Wonder in the building. Let me get him up here. What's up, Blue? Talk to him.
What's good, man? Appreciate you having me again.
You already know what it is on the Roundtable. And I got a special, listen, so I go get the boy Wonder, right? Because, you know, he's Mr. Analytics. Then I go get somebody who works for Pro Football Focus, my man Cam. Holla at him, Cam. What's good, my guy?
Hey, what's good, everybody? Always great to be on, and feel special being on Scotty's platform, so can't wait to get started.
Hey, man, appreciate you for having on, man. And you guys can go check his stuff out. It's Cam, my man Cam, he has his own podcast, Independent Intel Podcast on Spotify and Apple. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go check that out. Good stuff. And like I said, my man works for Pro Football Focus, so you know what he's talking about. All right, come on now. All right, they just don't be hiring on any old body. All right, so listen, guys, we're going to get to some topics today. We'll get your opinions on it. And you already know what we had to start with first. And listen, people listening, we are taking calls today. All right, we are taking calls, but we'll take calls after the show. Okay, so we're going to go through all the topics. If you have a question, if you have a comment, make sure you write it down, keep it in your head, call in, and we'll make sure you get to you, all right? First thing first, fellas, breaking news. Coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, Coach whatever you want to call him, will not be coaching at the Bethune game. He will be at the house kicked up. Who would like to take this first in their opinions on that?
I guess I will, but listen, man, I'm not taking this. Don't even matter to me. I mean, we could have just not even addressed it because, listen, I got this is straight facts. Me, you, and Cam, and we could take 5 other people from the comments, and we beat Bethune this weekend. Just tell James Houston to get out there, get after the quarterback, Shador not to turn the ball over, and it's a wrap. Cover the tight end. That's the one game plan. Whoever's the D coordinator, cover Averett. It's a wrap. It don't matter, man. Nick Saban missed almost 2 games last year due to COVID. We've seen it happen. I mean, let's just be honest. Jackson State is still the favorite by a significant margin, regardless if Coach Prime is in Jackson or he's all the way across the country. It doesn't matter.
Go ahead, Cam.
Yeah, I agree with Blue. He picked the right game to kind of be at the crib. Bethune-Cookman hasn't won a game all season. Now, if this was a matchup where later in the year they're going against Southern or Alcorn, I think we could raise some eyebrows. But like Blue said, cover Everett, get to the quarterback, offensively stay balanced, they'll be fine. The intern guy that's coming in for him, he's an extension of that offensive program. So offensively, they could put up even more points. But I don't think it's a big issue at all.
See, man, I think y'all missing it. I think y'all missing it. Because, what I've learned about Coach Prime is he's a bigger picture guy. The bigger picture is he understands that his coaching staff is so good that he's like, you know what, I need to get these boys ready when I'm not there, or I need to get these boys ready for future gigs and jobs that they're going to be having. So he's like, why should I put my health in crisis, or why should I put my foot in jeopardy when I really believe he's just like, you look what the docs are like, hey, it would behoove you. It's a military thing, military do that all the time. It would behoove you to not go out there and not roll around, not put that stress on yourself. So he's like, let me give my coaches an opportunity to see what they can do and not have me in the wings. You know what I'm saying? Like, not have me in the background in this image of, we got to do this. I just think I honestly think they're probably going to play a little bit better and a little bit looser if Deion's not there. So I think it could even really help that what it is. And shout out to my boy Sean, one of my moderators, one of my members. Sean, is his birthday today. Shout out to you, my guy. If you were an Eagles fan, I would have sent you something, but you're an Eagles fan, so I'm gonna just keep that alone. All right, So I just think Deion be thinking big, man. He's a big thinker. So that's me.
Well, I mean, also, if you look at the best coaches in the country, I mean, let's just keep it real. The best coaches in the country are CEOs. Deion doesn't call the plays. Deion doesn't create the offensive game plan. Deion doesn't even touch the defense. You can talk about what great corner he was. He's got no impact on any game plan, play call, anything. All he is the CEO. That staff, say what you want, has the experience. Thurman has been in the trenches. The offensive coordinator, TC Taylor, has been around the program. These guys aren't just random guys off the street, they're going to be fine. That's why Alabama was fine without Nick Saban. That's why if you took Dabo away from Clemson, even though they suck this year, they'd be okay. You take away Kirby Smart from Georgia. These guys have experience. A head coach is just a CEO, and a good CEO, his company down doesn't work today.
Yeah, I mean, like Boo said, that's correct. T.C. Taylor, Dennis Thurman, they have the pedigree and the history to be pretty good coordinators in that situation. But like I said before, it helps that you're going against Bethune-Cookman, who sucks. So you're able to kind of pull everything out and try to see which works and what's not, prepping you for the bigger competition down the line with your Southern and out.
I feel you guys, and I agree with both of your points. And like once again, this is a great game to do it. But listen, trap games are just that, trap games. All right, and let's be real. And I'm not giving Bethune more credit than they should. But every game they've somewhat been in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been a score here, a score there, a field goal here, a field goal there, and things could change. So I'm not saying that they have this offense that's figured out and everything like that. And you're absolutely right, Blue and Cam. If you guard number one, Everett, I mean, you're literally, the game's over. Shannon Patrick is okay. The running back is pretty decent. But I just don't think that a Terry Sims coach team to me is just as gritty as a Coach Dancy team. You know what I'm saying? They're going to fight the whole way through. So a trap game is just that, is a trap. And the way football works, man, anything could happen. Scooping scores, picks, fumbles, all type of stuff. So you never know, but we'll see how it goes. Moving on to the next topic. Quick recap on thoughts on week 7. Anything that you guys saw or, that you wanted to address about week 7 of the SWAC football season?
Well, for starters, I'll go first. I was at homecoming for Jackson State. And, the crowd was out. It was historic and whatnot. But just being able to see Shedeur Sanders live kind of showcase his biggest strength, which I think is his escapability. It's a whole different animal and a different beast. And I thought he did a pretty good job extending plays behind an O-line that struggled at times in the first half to block Alabama State. And then their ability to establish a run in the second half pretty much set the tone. Defensively, we know what they are. They got a front seven that's dynamic. And the same still goes. Their secondary is susceptible and can be gotten, but it's all about you being able to withstand the pass rush. And I thought Alabama State did a decent job in the first half. It's just Miles Crawley was not very good at making the accurate passes and whatnot, and that kind of limited their ability to kind of go up bigger than a 7-7 score at the half. So, Jackson State, they're in a pretty good place. We're going to get to, where the SWAC East is and whatnot, but they're dominant live. I think they're going to continue that move.
What you got, Blue?
My team that I've focused on the most, even on my show, can we give FAMU a round of applause for what they did? Let's be honest. With that offense that A&M is supposed to have, if I would have told you they would be down 18 in the third quarter, you guys would have been like, oh, that's a wrap. There's no way FAMU shutting out Glass down the stretch and coming back with Rashawn McKay to overcome 18 points. And, you got to give Bonnet credit. You got to give McKay credit. Outside of the one interception for McKay, he had 3 touchdowns through the air. He actually had his best game of the season outside of one play. And we saw how good teams succumb to pressure and adversity. A&M crumbled against Grambling when things started going south. FAMU had everything that could go wrong, went wrong in the first 2.5 quarters. And in the second half, they played outstanding and came back and got a huge win on the road against a team that a lot of people were unsure if they could beat. So I think you got to give FAMU so much credit for overcoming that adversity and showing that they can win a game even if they don't play their best football.
I got to give a little bit of pushback on that, Blue. And we don't usually give pushback on recap. Just a little bit. It is Alabama A&M. And it is Alabama defense. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Now, I give Rashawn, he made the throws that was supposed to be made. The one he did in the beginning of the fourth quarter, I don't care if it was SportsCenter. It was pure luck. Pure luck. All right. The one he did in the back corner, absolutely amazing. It was a great throw, and the guy made the play. And once again, Alabama A&M's DBs don't make plays. So, but yeah, hey, listen, when you play against Alabama A&M, good things happen. That's just what happens on the defense side of the ball. For me, it's Southern. Listen, you're just up and down. You're just a roller coaster, all up and down. New coach, new schemes. You're not looking as good as and efficient as you were in the spring. You meet up with Texas Southern, they beat you. Everybody everybody think the house is about to burn down. You come out, and don't get me wrong, UAPB has not been the strongest opponent, but they have not been blown out. All right, like they've been in some games. All right, they've been in some games, the Alcorn game and things like that. They've been in and out of games, but for you to just come out and straight dominate the way they did with over, I think, 300 yards of rushing, you know what I'm saying? Like it. Come on, like that. That's a good staple going into this massive game you have coming up this week. It's a good way to get things back on track. Chase Foster, I believe, had 3 picks in that game. Just outrageous numbers. So I think that's a good confidence and good booster for Southern to get ready and get focused on this upcoming game, because I think you need a win like that, regardless of the opponent you're going against. You listen. My motto for Southern has always been: if you think you can run the ball, you can't, because Southern does it 10 times better. And when you come out and you run the ball like you did against UAPB, lets you know, hey, we're still that team that you still got to come see, and we gonna run it down your throat. So I think that was a huge win. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta give them that. All right, moving on. All right, first game up for the week 8. Texas Southern versus Alcorn State. Now, Blue, I know me and you do predictions and stuff like that. I'm not going to give my predictions on here. If you choose the game, whatever, that's cool. And Cam, if you want to give your predictions, you're more than welcome to. But you can pop it off, Blue. Who you got? Texas Southern and Alcorn State. Tell me about the game.
Oh man, this is going to be such a great matchup to see Body versus versus Felix Harper. That quarterback battle is going to be crazy to see who can go make the plays. What I do think it's going to come down to, though, is can Texas Southern slow down the rushing attack of Alcorn that has been really good over these past few weeks? That's, to me, everyone could talk about Felix and improving his play. It's that run game for me. Duffy and them boys are getting yards. And then also, I believe Stafford is back healthy now, too. I know we had had some carries last week. That two-headed monster is legit in Alcorn. So for me, the real determining factor is one can protect Felix, because there was a time where they couldn't block a soul up front for Alcorn. And can Texas Southern slow down the run game? But I do think this game is going to be closer than people think. But this is one of the games I'm not previewing on my channel. So right now, I'm taking Alcorn by probably about 10 points right now.
Okay.
Yeah, for Texas Southern, really for Body in particular, this is a huge kind of bounce back game you could potentially have. Alcorn State's defense is pretty suspect, to say the least, throughout the season. Like Lou said, they've established a running game, the Braves, recently, and Nico Duffy, when he's involved in incorporating the offense, he gets to a whole nother level. I think for Texas Southern to have a chance, getting to Felix is important. He's been one of the more stacked quarterbacks in all the SWAC outside of Akil Glass, and if you're able to pressure him, you have a chance to slow down that offense. So I have Alcorn still. They're rolling. They're really all these games for the Braves moving forward, they matter. Texas Southern is a potential trap game. Don't want to walk in and fall asleep. And while they don't have the defense that Grambling had to neutralize Body, I think offensively they'll be explosive enough to come out with a dub.
Listen, I agree with everything you guys are saying. Andrew Body gotta come. I need a redemption. I need, what's that thing when you at the theater and they make you come out again? You know what I'm saying? Like when you're clapping so much, like a curtain call, and they make you come out. I need him to come out again. He gotta show me, because what you did at Grambling didn't work for me. I jump on the bandwagon. As soon as I jump on the bandwagon, you don't show up against Grambling. You hurt my feelings. I really want to see how Alcorn deals with a mobile quarterback. All right. We all know, like you said, Blue, about the offensive line. I think with what Alcorn State is seeing going forward is that, hey, pass blocking isn't our strong suit. Run blocking is a little bit better for us. So let's keep this thing on the ground, run it 30, 40 times, have Felix throw in between about 20, 24 times, and just manage the game as that, because he's not a game manager, but if you put him in a game manager, you'll get a 20. If he throws the ball 20, 24 times, 10 or 15, they'll be special. Like, you're like, dang, how did he make that throw, or how did he get out of this? So I think they just want to limit the mistakes by him and by the O-line, and that's why they run the ball as much as they do. Texas Southern needs Andrew Body to be all world. You need the Rice Texas Southern. I mean, you need the Andrew Body from Southern game. You need him to have over 100 yards rushing and at least over 250 in passing for them to even be competitive in this game. So I want to lean more towards Texas Southern, because I really want to believe what they're cooking up over there. But as of right now, I'm encore. Thank you, babe. It's called an encore. Thank you. So I need them to come back out and do something. But I don't know about this one. This one, I'm on the fence on this one. I'm about 50-50 on this one. I can't lie. So by Friday, I'll definitely have a decision. Now, moving forward, how can Texas Southern knock off another SWAC West opponent? It doesn't have to be. It could be. I don't know. They already play PV, so it might be. You know, who else is it? UAPB. It might be. Like I'm saying, it could be Alcorn. Who do you guys see them, or if possible, do they win another game?
I mean, I'm looking at their schedule right now. So just to help you guys out, because I know probably all don't know their schedule by heart. They have Alcorn this week, UAPB next week, at Jackson State on November 6th, Alabama A&M on the 13th, and then they end the season on the road against Alabama State. So that'd be their schedule. I think right now I'm picking Texas Southern over UAPB because they can't stop nobody. The only team that hasn't thrown for 300 on UAPB is Southern, and it's because they don't throw the ball. But I mean, and on top of that, they gave up 300 on the ground. And when you have this Texas Southern offense coming in with a quarterback as dynamic as Body is, I think he's going to have a day against UAPB. And I think if there's a game on this slate that they're going to win, it's UAPB, and they might beat them convincingly, in my opinion.
Yeah, UAPB for sure gives Texas Southern the outlet to win another game. Alabama A&M, they're a potential team that they could clip up as well because their defense is very susceptible. It's going to take Body being phenomenal and the defense just being opportunistic. Against Southern, we all know what Body put up number-wise, but the defense made enough stops and enough plays to come out with that W. And they're just going to have to continue to play like that throughout the year. I think for Texas Southern, it's just continuing to build a chemistry and a culture for next season. I think you got your foundational piece at quarterback. Now you want to really finish this season strong and kind of see what other increments you could add to the program next year.
I should have. The question should have been, can they beat another SWAC opponent? Because I see them coming out with at least about. I can see about 2 wins. I can see about 2 to 3 wins. And that's just me being hopeful. That's me being on the body train. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely see it happening. If it started this Saturday, I think they can really open some eyes for real. If you go in, is it at Alcorn? I think it's at Alcorn. Hey, Blue, I know you got the schedule up. Are they at Alcorn or?
No, they're at home. It's in Houston.
Oh, it's in Houston. Oh, I can see that game go. You know what? Come on, man. I'm calling it right here, the upset. Texas Southern over Alcorn.
What's your record right now?
I'm 12-5.
It's about to be 12-6. 12-6. Go ahead and write it down. Put it. Hey. Tell Miss Script to go ahead and get the concrete ready. Write it in the concrete. It's gonna stay forever.
I'm calling it now. Oh, I'm calling it now. I can't hold it in. I listen. He got me once. It's cool. I'm coming back with you, Body. I'm doubling down. I'm betting on black, baby. Come on. I got him. I got it. I got Texas Southern over Alcorn. I don't got my score in my head right now, but I think it's probably gonna be like 30-27 or 30-28, something like that. But some weird in the SWAC. There's gonna be some weird score in the SWAC. But yeah, I definitely see. I can see it happen. I can definitely see Texas Southern pulling off a couple upsets in the West and maybe even in the East. You know what I'm saying? So we shall see. All right, moving forward, man. The game. This is the game right here. And Blue, I know you ain't doing no predictions because I know this is going to be the highlight of your week right here.
That's the game of the week.
That's the game of the week. This is the game of the week right here. All right. So Cam, go ahead and pop it off for us.
Yeah, man, this is one of the big games of the week in the SWAC, PVU versus Southern. I think Southern, what was important being an Arkansas Pine Bluff last week and just getting back to their roots. In my opinion, they're like the Wisconsin of the SWAC. They're a physical team up front. They run the football, and they're very powerful doing that offensively. And I think against PVU, they're going to have to do the same. This is a very big play explosive offense for the Panthers. Last week, it would seem like every pass that Jawan passed through was a big touchdown. So being able to keep that offense off the field, ball control, dominating the trenches will help. And then also implications in the SWAC West. Whoever wins this, in my opinion, has a fast track to get to the SWAC championship in that West division. So very big all around.
Yeah,
before you go, Blue, let me go because I know you got a lot. Because when a big game for you got all kind of analytics. So I'm gonna let you wrap it up at the end. So this is my thing for this game, right? if PV wins this game, like you're pretty much home free. All you gotta do is see Alcorn, and you're pretty much home free. But if Southern wins this game, you're talking about a 3-team race for the SWAC championship. Oh man, it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic. But listen, my 2 keys for this game on both one for PV and one for Southern. If PV brings in that too high safety look, run down their throat. I would never. If they go too high, you better run it down their throat. Just every time you see it, just run it down their throat. For PV, I'm bombing on these. Them DBs are garbage. All right, I'm sorry. They're not garbage. Okay, they're not that good. I won't say garbage. They're not that good. All right. So if I'm Juwan Pass, I am letting it fly, and you don't got to worry about Jordan Lewis because ain't nobody seen him. All right. So you good. So just get back there, bomb it, throw it to Hollanday and all them boys that be flying, and let that thing fly for real. But go ahead, Blue. Go ahead, hit us with analytics.
I mean, I haven't done my full research. I won't like just bombard y'all with just math and stuff like that. But for me, the pressure's on Southern really and truly here, because if you lose this game, I think you're out. I think Southern's SWAC championship hopes are dead.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to go to the house. Like hopefully next year, hopefully I'll find a quarterback. Because when you look at what they have going forward, the way PV hasn't lost a SWAC game helps them, but they also lucked out. They're the only contender in that division that doesn't see Jackson State. Southern still has that Jackson State game coming up, and they still got to see Alcorn. So they got 2 huge conference games ahead, and they got to see FAMU.
Facts.
So
right after that game.
Yeah, like listen to the schedule, man. They get PV this week, Alcorn next week, FAMU the week after, then Jackson State. Then you think you got it easy, and you got to go see Grambling in a rivalry game where anything can happen.
Yeah.
So if Southern doesn't win this game, wrap it up. I don't want to hear a single Southern fan talk about the SWAC championship because it ain't happening. It's dead because they're not winning out. I don't trust Southern to win out in this one. And the bad part is, even if they win, PV's still good. PV doesn't have to stress at all because Southern's probably losing one of those games. So you're back in it. And then all you got to do is look forward to the Alcorn game. So for me, Southern has so much riding on this one. But for me, if I'm PV, like you said, I'm putting like 10 in the box. Throw on me. I dare you. I dare you to air it out.
Yeah.
I don't want Dylan to even be able to breathe this weekend. I don't want him to even see any green grass. I want him to see PV defenders in his face the entire game. And this is a test for that D-line. You said they weren't great outside of Dumas at that D tackle spot. They still played very well. This is a test. You're a top 3 defense in the SWAC. Prove it this weekend. If Southern hits 200 rushing yards, they win this game. Easily. So you have to put 8, 9 in the box and say, can you throw it on me? And if I'm PV, I say you can't, because we have decent DBs on the back end. And so you have to put everyone in the box. And that's going to be the key for me. And then also Juwan Pass, you've done great not turning the ball over. If he doesn't turn the ball over, I have a really hard time seeing PV lose this game, because that's the only thing that has been stopping PV this year is Juwan Pass's inaccuracy and turnovers.
I want to touch on this comment. I'm gonna say something too. Jackson is so right. Southern's the way Zach Grossi uses, he is the best next to Bethune, because Bethune has a tight end / wide receiver. Like, so they slide him out wide. They put him in any way they can get number 1 the ball. They're gonna get him the ball. So he's technically not a tight end, but he listed at one. But he's power 5. He'll be a wide receiver. Southern, the way Zach Grossi uses those tight ends is it's perfect. It's clinic worthy. How he gets them on how he gets you going one way, and he'll have the tight end come back the throwbacks. He'll have them come out for wheel routes. All type of stuff. So definitely be looking out for that. But what I want to say that a lot of people aren't talking about, PV got like 3 backs that get loose, and they can go 4 deep. So let's not act like PV can't run this thing as well. Now, do they run it to the efficiency of Southern? No. But they got 3 backs that can all break and get loose. If you didn't see the UAPB game, I mean, they had them boys on a rotation. I mean, they will do one carry after another, and they're just coming in, and they just stay fresh. So definitely be looking out for that. But yeah, I agree with you, Blue. That intermediate passing for me is where Juwan gets most of his picks at. It's never downfield. It's those out routes. It's those in routes. It's the throwbacks, the little east and west passes that go fumbles or incompletes. So that's the stuff he has to be on top of. But if it's, go ahead.
And like also the thing with Southern is you cannot allow them to be explosive. When PV's at their best, they run the ball, and then PV bombs you over the top because Pass has one hell of an arm. Mm-hmm. You cannot have that happen because the biggest, you guys know how it is. I mean, everyone here played football. We study football. The biggest heartbreaker is Southern, like 15 play drive. You drive the field and they score on 2 plays over the top of you. And then you're like, well, damn, bro, like we already have to be back out here. We got to execute. And so the thing is one, they can't allow PV to be explosive, and can Southern's offense be explosive? Because I don't think you're just going to be able to grind them out and have 15, 20 play drives all game. You got to show a little bit of explosiveness, whether that be in the run game, catch him with the pass, something, and you cannot allow Juwan Pass to get in his bag. Because as we all know on this panel, if he can hit the deep ball, he might not be great intermediate, but if he gets loose over the top, it's a problem.
So what you got, Cam?
Yeah, I mean, Juwan Pass, I've known him since the Louisville days. He's come a long way from being Lamar Jackson's heir apparent to really prospering at PVU. And his game is predicated off of utilizing his legs and his arm. You got to limit the big plays if you're Southern. You have to be able to defend the deep pass and really make him go the length of the field, test the intermediate, make him make the throws to the boundary, and then you have a chance. And then offensively, I don't think Bubba McDaniels is going to be able to get away with just throwing the football 15 times. PVU is going to stack the box. They're going to try to neutralize Kobe Dillon because they don't want his powerful legs and rushing ability to kind of expose them like they did to UAPB. And so he's going to have to make the big time throws and whatnot. But I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's just going to really ultimately come down to Southern's defense. It's been very suspect, and I think it got put on Front Street when Texas Southern came in and dropped 35 on it, which no one expected. So I think if their defense can get enough stops, they have a shot. But kind of like what Blue said, that schedule, it's the end of the world. I don't really see them winning the SWAC, but I think that also means I think the pressure's on PVU because they have the easier schedule. And right now they're in their driver's seat, and this is a program where they've had the nicest football facility in the SWAC for years. They've kind of built everything to kind of get to this point. We know Texas, it's football. Football is royalty over there. They finally have a good team. And now you got to get at least to the SWAC championship. A collapse would be detrimental to what the program's building this year.
I'm listen. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let it go. If Southern loses, all I'm gonna say is not the powerhouse, not the powerhouse. Like what's going? What are we doing? Not the powerhouse. Come on now, but that's going, and that's at 7. I'm going to the Valley game. Listen, I'm gonna be trying to shoot back to the crib to watch that. It's gonna be lit. All right. Now we kind of touched on it a little bit. A loss to Southern. How does PV look? Are you calling them pretenders? Or are they still contenders, even with a loss to Southern? That's pretty much what the question is for me.
I think PV, they're good either way, mainly because they have a schedule that's apropos to them getting out of the West. It depends on how they lose. If they lose kind of how everybody's alluding to them hopefully not losing, which is they get ran out the building, it's going to be a tough look because it's just going to show that Southern's physical dominance and their identity overpower what they bring to the table. But if it's a loss where it's kind of high scoring, Juwan Pass looks phenomenal, and a couple balls don't go their way, I think it's something you can build upon and move forward. But I think the big thing, like Blue said, Pass has to continue to protect the football. If he's not putting the ball in harm's way, if he's utilizing his arm and his legs, PVU's offense is always going to have a chance to score against that suspect Southern defense.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on how they lose. I agree. I mean, every loss definitely isn't the same. If they lose on like a fluke, turnover or like a last second field, I mean, I guess I don't know if Southern has a kicker, maybe a last second field goal. I don't like to judge people's kicking games, but I mean, a last second touchdown. If they lose by less than like 10, they're still fine. I mean, personally, they still have their entire schedule in front of them. All they need is Southern to lose one game. They beat Alcorn. They're back in the same spot. So for me, they just can't get blown out. If they lose by like 50, like 14 to like 20 something points or more, then that's a problem. Then yeah, maybe they just played a really easy schedule, because the one real good team they played in Incarnate Word, they got smacked. I mean, smacked is like nice. They got absolutely destroyed in that game. And so, so if this is their game to prove they're legit, have they improved since they played Incarnate Word? I don't know, but if they lose by more than, I would say, 14 points, they're pretenders. But anything less, they're fine.
Yeah, I'm going on the same bandwagon. You guys are, I'm pushing the bus. I just, if they get ran out the gym like UAPB, yeah, I'm gonna have to call false advertising on that one, because everything has been working well for you guys. You guys have been doing, you guys have been kind of strolling along, just beating people. Because if I'm being honest, I didn't think the Bethune game should have been as close as it was, if we're being honest. So, and for what people were telling me about that game is that Bethune had many chances to go up and win that game. They just failed to do so. But they always say great teams find a way to win. So that I'm like I said, I'm on the same boat as you guys. If I see Southern run them out the gym, or just 21, 24-0, 35-7, something like that, I'm be like, oh wow, because an offense that explosive shouldn't just go dead, in one of the biggest games that they have on their schedule. So that would be my biggest issue. But if it's close, 1 point, 2 points, that's football. You know what I'm saying? That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens. Anybody else got anything to say?
I mean, I'll just say this. I'll be shocked if it's a blowout either way. I think these teams match up real well, and I do think it's going to be a close game. I would be really, really shocked if that was a blowout.
Man, in the SWAC, bro, I can't even no more, bro. I ain't even going to lie to you. Because I thought the UAPB game was going to be decent. Like, decent. You know what I'm saying? And Southern just came in and wrecked shop. You know what I'm saying? They shouldn't even score the 7 points that they got in the first place. So it's just stuff like that. And then somebody said, for you, Blue, Damon G said we have a good kicker.
Hey, I'll take your word for it. That's all good.
All right, he said, I gotta let them know. All right. So next question. Prairie View, Alcorn, Southern, who should be the favorite? And I'm gonna pop it off first, because you guys have pretty much already said it, and especially you, Blue. For me, surprisingly, I gotta go with the person on my hat. They got to be the favorite, because you've been here. Listen, you can never diminish that you have accomplished something. I can never diminish a champion, right? You've been here multiple times. The coach that brought you there is still there. Like, the continuity of that team is so heavy that I have to respect it. So for me, I'm in McNair I trust, and Harper I trust. That's the only two things I can give you. Everything else about Alcorn is a little flaky. You know what I'm saying? Except Nico. Nico's pretty legit. But Harper and McNair is the only thing I can trust. Everybody else is, because from what I've been told, Southern looking to run Jason Rollins, whatever his name out, he about to get gone. You know what I'm saying? And then PV is now becoming what they are now. So this is all new to them. So I got to go with what's been a sure bet for year after year, and it's got to be Alcorn for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna really go with Alcorn as well, just based upon their pedigree and what they represent. As a JSU alum, I've seen Alcorn dominate for years, and I don't really think the division that they're in the West, they have a chance to kind of do the same. Prairie View, we're all just waiting, and their biggest matchup is against Southern coming up. We're waiting to see how legit they truly are, and we'll find out about that as before. But Alcorn still is Harper. They got Coach McNair. They have an identity, and as long as they got Felix at the quarterback helm making plays, they got a shot. Their offensive line is very suspect. Harper's one of the guys that's been sacked the most in SWAC. So really your best bet to beat them is getting to Harper, antagonizing him, and then defensively executing on plays and making sure that your defense pays. But I gotta go with Alcorn as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I might surprise y'all. I do think Alcorn right now should be the favorite, just because PV hasn't played nobody. And like I said, the one game they played a legit team, they got just, it wasn't even close. So for me, I just think PV's a close second. But this weekend, I think if PV beats Southern convincingly this weekend, you got to move them up above them. Even with the history at Alcorn, if PV beats Southern convincingly, then I'm made a believer. I got you. That was your chance. You went on the road against a homecoming crowd. a team that's fired up with a lot to prove. That's the proving game that I need to see. But right now, since they haven't proved anything, Alcorn has looked better week in and week out, and they just keep improving. I mean, I think you guys can agree with that. The team that played week 1 in the MEAC SWAC Challenge is not the same team that we saw last weekend against Mississippi Valley State. They have gotten better week in and week out. So for me, I'm going with Alcorn. And like you said, McNair, the coaching battle's easy. It's McNair over both coaches. So they also have that going for them. So right now, I would say Alcorn slightly over PV.
Okay. I gotta give somebody a comment. Chris Neal says people try to measure teams off certain games. If you know football, you can't go off that. I don't know what you are talking about, because that's how most teams are measured. If you go and play a championship team, like, okay, if let me show you how foolish that comment is. If they would have went up and beat Incarnate Wood, then they, if PV would have went up and beat Incarnate Wood and they still would have been ranked, now everybody's like, yo, hey, PV is something, you know what I'm saying? Or PV, even a close loss, Blue, even a close loss, if it's 27-26, that makes you look good. But when you getting beat by Texas Southern, I mean, what are we talking about, Chris Neal? That game didn't count? That you can't base off what you're doing for somebody else? Shut up.
And I mean, the question I have for Southern fans are, what game have y'all looked really impressive outside of Mississippi Valley State and UAPB, two of the worst defenses in the SWAC?
Come on.
I mean, really and truly, Southern has proved almost less than Prairie View has. I mean, let's be real. I mean, they haven't beat anyone worth anything. So, I mean, let's be honest. Southern hasn't proved anything, and this is a proving game for Southern. All the talk about Southern this and that is about history. Well, this is this year. It's 2021. It's the fall. Like, we need to see it on the field, and they haven't shown it yet against a good team.
Yeah, I mean the comment had potential, but considering you're a Southern fan, they're not the most consistent team in the SWAC, so that kind of behooves your whole point. But yeah, we need to find out what Southern truly is. Identity-wise, they've been all over the place. Like Blue said, their best performances have been against the worst defenses in the conference. We all know what they can be when they're locked in, and they find their quarterback in Bubba McDaniels. He opens up the passing game even more. But now at this point, everybody knows Kobe Dillon, what he represents. He's on everybody's radar now. So moving forward, gonna have to find different ways to win football games, and I'm interested to see how that translates.
But I think a lot of people are focusing on Kobe Dillon, but you can't even do that if we're being honest. They have a stable: Craig Nelson, Jamar Washington, Kobe Dillon, Devon Ben, and I heard they got somebody else coming back off injury. I don't know. Somebody from Southern told me that. So they have a stable at running back. So I'm not saying I wouldn't even focus. You can't even focus all your attention with Kobe Dillon. And the one thing about Zach Grossi is he'll have 3 guys on the field at the same time. He'll have a Jamar, he'll have a Craig Nelson, and he'll have a Ladarius Skelton. And you don't know who's gonna get. You don't know if Skelton gonna throw that thing. You don't know if he's gonna run it. It can get so creative at times. I just want to see how well Zach Grossi calls this game, because to me, I think that's going to be key. I need to see his creativity level top. I mean, he has to come to play. To play.
Well, I mean, so Southern is not this team, because I know what people in these comments do. They take like half your sentence and run with it. What the running game for Southern is like in terms of stable of running backs is what Georgia has right now. Georgia has like 5 running backs in the FBS that have like 200 yards rushing. And each week it could be James Cook, it could be the kid Zeus, it could be the 4-string running back in McIntosh. They have so many guys that can just go make a play that, Dillon might not even be the leading rusher this weekend, because they just going to go with the hot hand. And it's the exact same thing that Georgia does at the FBS level. And they just rotate fresh bodies until they find a hot hand. And so that's kind of what it's like, but they're not Georgia. So I don't want to see anyone in the comments being like, so you're saying Southern's Georgia? No, the running back depth is similar. Jesus.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm thinking back off of what Blue said. I'm going to make another NFL comparison, and they're not this either. It's like Shanahan and the Niners. You run the hot hand, and when Dillon had that career game, before that, he had 1 rushing touchdown and about 200 yards rushing this season. So they go by the book. You kind of go off of flow and rhythm and whatnot. So that's true nonetheless. But I think PV is going to come in and basically dare Southern to beat them through the air. And they're going to have to find a way to execute that productively.
Cool. All right. Let's go. Moving on.
There are 3 participants in the conference.
All right, guys. We're coming down. We're getting close to the end. If you want to get your calls in, go ahead and start calling into the call lines, and we'll answer your calls. Fam versus Valley. Now, I will be at this game. I'm gonna be there, Mr. Campbell. I know you're gonna be at the game as well. So holla at when you see me. Okay. Probably gonna be on the field because you know how I do. No, I'm just playing. But hey, go ahead. I can pop it off for us. Fam versus Valley. What are you looking for?
Yeah, I think what I'm looking for is for Fran to continue to do what they're doing offensively. They had a pretty good showing to end the second half against Alabama A&M. Granted, against Alabama A&M, but their running game and the quarterback play was pretty solid. And then defensively, just build upon what they've been doing all season. At this point for FAMU, it's important that they continue to stack on stylistic wins as they position themselves for potential FCS playoff berth. And to do so against a Valley team is a prime position. And we know defensively what they represent. They'll be able to get after Jelani Eason pretty productively. And I think for Valley, just being able to be a little bit more respectable this time around, they didn't have a great showing last week. You're going against another juggernaut offensively, or defensively rather, and just being able to put points on the board. And the more points that they put on the board, the higher chance they'll have to stay in it because their defense is pretty underrated in their own
Ah, man, you could call me a hater. I mean, this could be. I know this is going to sound so disrespectful. This could be another shutout game, in my opinion. I think FAMU's playing that good, and Mississippi Valley's didn't even get to put a touchdown up against Alcorn.
Mhm.
And you think they're going to run? I just
Legit though.
they-
The kicker's legit at Valley though.
Oh, okay. They're legit. I don't know if they're going to see a touchdown again, man, because they had no consistency in the red zone because they had no creativity in the play call. I went back and saw some of the highlights and read about this game. They just were so bad in the red zone, and I think FAMU's defense is on a whole nother level than what Alcorn's putting on the field. I don't even see this being close. I think Bonnet in that running game is going to get going with FAMU. I got FAMU running away with this one. I think they win it by probably 14 to 20 points or more.
All right. First of all, somebody said 40-0. FAMU's
That's
offense
not happening. Yeah, they're not.
they can't miss 40. FAMU's offense miss 40. All right. This is my issue. And I agree with you, Blue. I think it's going to be a runaway game. I think FAMU's defense is legit. The corners, not so much, but the safeties definitely. This is my thing. If FAMU does not beat this team by 21 points, I don't want to hear nothing about playoffs. I don't want to hear nothing about the play. I swear to God, because you're in a position now that you got to really do like the old FBS used to do. Remember, you had to do like style point wins when you just had to like blow teams out by 50 points. That's what you got to do to make yourself relevant again, because you're not. You lost the game you needed to win. You didn't beat South Florida. Now y'all over here screaming, "Oh, FAMU for playoffs, FAMU for playoffs," and you barely beat Alabama A&M, and the team you lost to beat them 62-15. So what are we talking about right now? So if you don't beat Valley it should be 42-7. It needs to be 42-7. If it's not something like that, don't talk to me about playoffs. Playoffs. Don't talk to me about no playoffs. No. So I mean, I can call the game now. FAMU is going to win. What they're supposed to score and what will be the score are two different things.
Yeah, I mean, they got to pull a Cincinnati. I mean, Cincinnati is number 2 in the FBS poll. They have to win every game by 20 or more points to even have a shot, even if they're undefeated, because every Power 5 team that wins is going to start jumping them if they don't look dominant. And that's what I mean. FAMU doesn't even have a vote in the poll, so you better win 50-0 if you can. And that means every game from here on, you got to win by like 30 points to prove a point.
Easily. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's just what you got to do. Go ahead, Cam.
Yeah, exactly. Look, that 7-6 L week 1 against Jackson State looks good now, but if the games down the stretch aren't dominant wins, it's all for naught. And it really comes down to them just being able to set the tone in the trenches. And Rashawn McKay was fabulous down the stretch, but that's obviously against Alabama A&M. They're not a great defensive team, so they're probably going to have to lean on the running game led by Bishop Bonnet. But defensively, they do what they do pretty best. They'll be able to contain Eason, but it's all about the ultimate competition, which is they're competing against the scoreboard. If they're not winning by 14 and 21 and 28 points down the line, I don't really see how you can have a playoff argument.
14 to Valley? Nah, you can't even. 14 can't even be in your discussion. You need to be on some Coach Prime. I wanted to make sure all the lights on the scoreboard work. That's what y'all need to be on for real. And what makes it tough is that if we're being real, if you call a spade, Rashawn McKay is not that guy, right? He's not the quarterback that's going to light you up. And if you want to be a running team, which Bishop, Bonner, and Terrell, which you have a great running attack, that's only going to get you so far, because let's not sleep on Valley like they're going to roll over. Valley's not going to roll over. Valley's going to give you everything they got. They're going to scrap. They're going to claw. They're going to fight. So, yeah, even though you're the better team and you're supposed to win, you probably won't even do what you're supposed to do. And it might be 28-3 or 28-7. And it's like 28 points. That's all you can muster up when you're supposed to be dominating these teams to go to the go to the playoffs. Yeah, miss me with that, fam. Y'all, I mean, don't get me wrong. Y'all going to win the game, but I'm going to do y'all like I did Jackson State with Delta State. If y'all don't beat this team by 24 more points, it ain't a win. It's a loss, because you're playing for a playoff resume. You're not even worried about the SWAC championship, because I don't think anybody, we'll get to that. But come on, man. Like, what we doing? So, all right. Next game. Bethune-Cookman at Jackson State.
Man, I really thought we were just skipping it. I thought we were all just going to clap together and be like, Jackson State by 50, moving on.
You know what I'm saying? Like, 1, 2, 3, get go. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, got to talk about it.
Yeah, I think the biggest storyline is for Jackson State. Are they going to have 50K in the vet again? I know that's what they're advocating after homecoming. I don't really see that happening, because homecoming was such a dynastic experience population-wise. You had everybody coming from different states. But I think for JSU, you just don't come in thinking it's going to be an easy victory. You got to be aware on all P's and Q's. If you're able to contain Everett, you have a shot, because, not a shot, you're going to win. Because Bethune-Cookman is not going to be able to stop you offensively. I think Shador, just building off of what he's been able to do recently, I think being able to be precise with the football, not turn the ball over, and continue to run the football productively is going to be huge. And then defensively, your front seven continuing to control the line of scrimmage and be dominant. I don't really see anybody being able to contain that on Bethune-Cookman. But just moving forward, I guess the biggest question for Jackson State is, what's going to be the defensive adjustments when they run into a team that's able to neutralize their pass rush? And we're probably going to go in depth on that in a second.
Yeah, and okay, so I'll address the comment from Mr. Dwayne. Dwayne, I am rooting for y'all to make the playoffs. I have been a biggest playoff supporter, and everyone wanted to hate me because I said y'all should go to the playoffs, but now everyone wants to go. The official poll is the Stats Perform FCS 25. That is the poll that the playoffs use. It is on the NCAA.com website. The only HBCU teams that got a vote was Prairie View with 16, and that was good for like number 32. Stop using these BS polls. Y'all find it on Reddit and Facebook, and the people in the SWAC Sports Central group do not know what they're talking about. They have not a single clue about anything FCS playoffs. Stop listening to them. All y'all, I got people sending me polls on Twitter where they got like Jackson State 15. Jackson State's not ranked 15th in the country. Stop sending me these polls. I don't care. Unless it's the official poll, I don't really care. I don't want to see it. I don't want to talk about it. But no, FAMU has no votes in the only poll that matters. Yes, CBS got their own poll. No one cares about it. It's just like the college football playoff race. Arkansas is ranked in the coaches poll. Nobody cares. Arkansas is not ranked in the poll that matters anyway. But the game, man. Let's just say this: it's either Averett's going to have to go for like 200. No, Averett's going to has to go for like 200 for them to even have a chance. I got Jackson State by like 30. I don't even think it's going to be close, man. I think this will be the perfect game for Shador to, get a little stat padding in.
Oh, man. Boy, you stupid, Blue. Boy, that was funny. I needed that. Oh, man. Blue out here crushing feelings and breaking hearts. All right. So, I mean, listen. Do I think Bethune's going to win this game? No. But I mean, listen, I'm not stupid, but I do. I want to know. Listen. This is okay. Let's keep it a buck. The same way I feel right now with the Bethune game, I'm probably hoping that Bethune scores a touchdown. That's how I should feel about the FAMU against Valley game, and I don't feel that way. And everybody tells me they have a better defense than Jackson State, which based off the points getting put up, it don't make sense to me. But I digress. So I'm worried that Bethune won't score. That that's where I'm at with this game. I'm like, man, are y'all gonna be able to put up 7? I mean, God, you know what I'm saying? So, and if I'm looking at that on the flip side with FAMU, I think Valley could get a touchdown on them. I really believe that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I see it. But yeah, I don't see them. I don't see them winning. This game. But I think if I was being a bully, if I was really being a bully, if I was like Jackson State really trying to bully, I would double team number 1, and then everybody else just man up, and then we just blitz hard. Yeah, I would. If I really want to embarrass you, like you're not supposed to be on this field with us, I would literally double team number 1, and then everybody else. And we do.
I don't think it's going to be close. I would just be a bully and move James Houston back to linebacker and say, that's your guy. Get in his chest off the line of scrimmage. Don't even let him get on the route. Pancake him at the line of scrimmage, and then what you going to do?
Yeah.
Nothing. I think they should, like you said, double team him. Go ahead. Try to throw it nugget. I dare you.
Yeah.
With that quarterback y'all got, I think it's going to be ugly, man. I'm really not even excited for this. I'm not excited at all to see this game. I think it could be very, very ugly.
Yep.
Yeah, it just looks like another tune-up game for JSU. So, at this point for Bethune-Cookman, the hope is you score some points. I don't really see it because offensively, yeah, they scored points recently, but going up against a legit SWAC defense in JSU. And so when the points aren't coming up, are you going to stop JSU on the other end? And I don't really see it, especially with TC Taylor establishing at rushing attack.
I don't listen. Jackson State's offense is not that special. I'm like Shadura special, but their offense is really not that special. If we're being honest, you put a normal a normal defense, just somebody that can literally hit somebody, stop somebody, put a little pressure. They might score 21 points on you, but their defense is so dominant. You ain't gonna score. 21 points is 40 to everybody else because that's a hard margin. You to think about scoring on Jackson State 3 times. It's damn, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's a tall measure. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like I said, their offense is really if it wasn't for if I'm calling 100, but if it wasn't for Shador, this offense wouldn't look nearly as good as they think it would. But whatever. So is the SWAC East race over? Let me go first because I'm gonna take all the bullets for y'all. Y'all can say whatever y'all. It's over. I don't know if y'all used to play that old Kobe Bryant game. He's like, the eggs are getting hard, the jello is jiggling. This is over. Call it. Listen, turn the lights off, send everybody home. You know what I'm saying? Tip your waitresses. It's over. It's over. Let's not play this. FAMU over there, just over there in the bushes, just waiting. Oh, I swear to God, if we could they have to lose twice. They have to lose twice, and they still got the head-to-head with y'all. So if they only lose once, they got the head-to-head with y'all, they win. It's over. Get prepared for next year, all right? Tell Coach Willie Simmons to get season 2 ready for Why Not Us, all right? And get it ready for next year because this year's over for y'all. It's over. It's over. The rest of y'all can go.
Yeah, the East, like Scotty said, it's a wrap. It's unfortunate for FAMU because now you're hoping that other teams can do what you had a chance to do week 1, where that Jackson State offense looked practically archaic and they only put up 7 points. So, I guess FAMU's hoping, look, they're playing Southern and Alcorn to end the year, so maybe they can slip up against one of those 2 teams. But biggest issue with Southern is consistency. They're not consistent enough. And then with Alcorn, as special as Felix Harper is, that O-line is very suspect, which means he'll be running for his life too. So it's unfortunate for everybody else. But coming in when Deion came, we all expected Jackson State to dominate the SWAC. And they're starting to do that now. Offensively, they're still much maligned. But as a team, they're starting to show their mettle against everyone else. And now, really, we're just really tuning into who they're going to potentially match up with in the SWAC championship. Is it PVU? Is it Alcorn yet again? I think that's going to be their biggest content this season.
Yeah, when you look at their schedule, they got Bethune this weekend, Mississippi Valley, and Texas Southern over the next 3 weeks. As much as Scotty's all about body, I don't think you got any faith that Texas Southern is going to pull that one out, especially in Jackson. I personally can't see it, and then I just don't see how Jackson State loses 2 back-to-back games against Southern and Alcorn. Are they going to lose one? Possibly. I just can't see them losing back-to-back games, especially as how well-rested they might come into that game after the lack of tests that they're going to have. So for me, I think it's as close to as over as humanly possible. I'd give it like a 99.99% chance that it's over.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's like, you know how they be like, are elephants fat? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is it. Like, it's just certain things that is there gravity? You know what I'm saying? Is the sun going to rise in the morning? All right, it's over. I mean, what are we talking about? What are we doing? This is not even a question, bro. Y'all keep hoping and praying, boy. Go to confessions. Now this game, and I'm not even gonna spend too much time on this. I would hate to be UAPB right now. Like, for real, you can't beat nobody in the SWAC, and then you gotta go see Arkansas. All right, not Arkansas, Arkansas, and get mollywop. Like, this is just, you're just beating down on the team. Now, all I would say is if people who have draft stock, like the DBs, you got to show up. Like, make some plays, try to make some impacts and stuff like that. But other than that, Skylar Perry, boy, listen, if I was a freshman on that squad, I'm like, yo, sit me out, coach. I'm not even about to get myself killed on this game. So yeah, this is about to get ugly, but go ahead. I don't even know why they scheduled this game so late, but all right.
I mean, I don't know. Listen, the DBs aren't going to have a chance. Arkansas was like one of the best rushing teams in the SEC, and I don't think they're going to throw it much. Their quarterback is 6'4", 250, and can run the football. I think listen, and especially because now you have Arkansas on a 3-game losing streak. They've lost to Georgia. They lost a 1-point game to Ole Miss, and then Auburn beat them last week on a comeback win. I think Arkansas is coming with full force. I mean, it's going to be like Alabama State Auburn. It's going to be like 60-something to nothing, most likely. I mean, it's going to be ugly. I mean, they don't even have a point spread on this game because they didn't know what to put on it. Don't even show up. It's going to be bad. Play your backups. Play your practice squad. I mean, don't get no one hurt. It's going to be ugly.
Yeah, that's This is going to be bad.
Arkansas is looking for the ultimate. Yeah, Arkansas is looking for the ultimate get back. They've lost 3 straight, like you said, and they got a great game where, HBCU's coming in for a money grab and an SEC team's ready to, pad up their stats. I think for Pine Bluff, I think what it comes down to is now you kind of not even on the two. You got to decide moving forward, what is your program identity? Skylar Perry looked phenomenal against Alcorn State early in the season, but since then, in that game, he completed 24 passes. Since then, he's only competed 20 out of 60 attempts. Obviously, he's not your guy moving forward. They're trying out a freshman in Vaughn to see what he can bring to the table. The coaching staff has a chance to potentially get fired. You just want to find out who are your glue guys to build a new identity program-wise next season. Obviously, this isn't a game to do so because Arkansas may not let these guys touch the end zone. But, that's really what you're looking forward to beyond this game down the stretch.
All right, real quick before we get off this topic, do you fire Doc Gamble? I think he's only been there for about a spring season. Was his first season, and this is his first full season. Are you looking to make a change? Yes or no?
Yes, because the spring has shown to us that it was a fluke. I mean, I think everybody kind of thought that deep down, and we're seeing how Alabama A&M is performing defensively. It got even worse, and the kill glasses looked pretty normal in games against elite pass rushes. And then Pine Bluff, did what they did, but Southern turned around and destroyed them in the fall after they were able to clip them early in the spring. So I feel like overall the SWAC's getting better. Obviously, Jackson State's the cream of the crop, but when you see teams like Valley, Texas Southern improving this year in a year where those programs really needed to kind of search for their identity as the comp's escalating, you got to be able to flip the script and do the same. And staying pat next year, I don't think is the way. Bring a new identity, bring in a new recruiting class, kind of rebuild that culture in Pine Bluff, because right now everybody in the SWAC is kind of trending upward, or you're immensely regressing.
I guess I'm gonna be like the lone person out here just on my limb. I'm gonna say give him another year, man. I mean, because how often do you have to play 2 full seasons in a calendar year like this? I mean, he did get to the SWAC championship. That's got to count for something. And also, this has been a great year for the SWAC as a whole. So for me, I think you got to give him 1 year, give him a chance to replace some of those transfers that he lost. Because let's be honest, with all the turnover in the FBS and the FCS, there was a lot of player movement. They lost a lot of people from that team in the spring. So I think he at least getting to the SWAC championship and having the chance to win it has earned him at least a grace year to say, okay, you get one bad year and then you got to turn it around next year. If you could finish in the top half of the division next year, you probably earn yourself another year, but he's definitely, his seat's getting a little warm, but to fire him, less, 6 months after he almost just won a SWAC championship, I think is a little bit too premature.
You know what? I thought I was going to be the only one to say that, Blue. I definitely agree with you. I would give him 1 more year. Because who are you replacing him with? That'd be my question. If somebody comes up that is like, you're like, hey, we can't turn it down. Like, okay, then I understand that. But if you're just trying to get like an assistant to come up or graduate or something like that, I wouldn't go that far. I think give him another year, and just to see what he can do. Because once again, I really feel that Alcorn game really set them on a trajectory that just went downhill from there. Because, I mean, they came out so hot, so on fire. And then the way they lost that game, I really felt it set the whole tone for the season. And they just haven't bounced back from that game, if I'm being honest. So I think that's what it was. So, well, I mean, that's my opinion. Cam, you got anything, or we can move to these? Call lines are open, guys. If you want to call in, call lines are open. But you can finish up, Cam, if you want to say something.
Yeah, I understand both you guys' points. Transfer portal really kind of decimated what that team was building. But I really think you judge it off of what the spring represented, not just for the SWAC, but for a lot of collegiate programs overall in football. You had a lot of teams, with the exception of like Ohio State and Alabama, that had abnormal years. Things come back to normal and things mold to the means. And so when you lose really bad to a Southern team that's, in my opinion, worse than what they were in the spring, hey, that's the team you beat in the spring. Not a great omen. And I think moving forward, they have to figure it out.
Oh man, Mr. Campbell, he pulls no punches. That was pretty funny. All right. So let me get to some of these callers. All right, first up, hey caller, you live, talk to us. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello.
Yeah, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Ron Bridges from South Carolina, but I live in Orlando now. I'm a FAMU grad, man. Love y'all show, man. Love it so much, man. But I just got something to say, man. Why can't the HBCUs have just a big old power conference, man? It'll be more easier for people to play each other in HBCU land. Plus, it'll be more easier to play these Appalachian states. It'll be more easier to play these coastal Carolinas once you have a big, if you get what I'm saying, because SEC got getting Oklahoma and Texas. So, if we get a big conference like that, it'll bring more money in. It'll bring more matchups in that, we love to see. So, what y'all think about that?
Okay. So I'm gonna say my piece, and then I know Blue's he's gonna rip you a new one. So I'm gonna say
no, it's all good. Okay. I ain't gonna yell at the dude. I'm not like that. You good?
No, you're gonna do it. I'm gonna tell you my like, just because your conference is bigger does not make it better, right? So if you start adding extra teams, it doesn't make it better. You still have to go out and beat people. That's all it comes down to. You can keep what you have right now, and if more SWAC teams are playing out of conference games and winning those out of conference games, then we don't even have this discussion right now. You'll be talking about all the exposure and getting to the FCS playoffs and FAMU doing this and PV doing that, and we got votes in the polls and we got 3 teams ranked. Like you'll have a lot more to say, and it won't be that, hey, we need to combine and do this and do that. You just right now, I wouldn't even focus on trying to blend a power conference. I would just like, hey, AD, let's schedule some people that we can beat. That's really all it comes down for me. But if the rest of you guys got something to say, we can say it like that.
I mean, okay, so I got 2 questions for you, man. The first one is, which other HBCU in the SWAC are you added that adds any value to what the SWAC already has? And then 2, what's preventing anyone in the SWAC from scheduling, a Coastal Carolina and App State over a Delta State or a Tuskegee right now?
I can say probably the fear of Well, the fear of the athletic directors for probably your last question, because HBCU is trying to at least schedule like one game that's going to be that money game, and after that, they really unsure if they can win those games that you're talking about. That's how I feel about that. Coaches maybe otherwise. They feel like they make and play a team that's probably not in the top 25, but kind of been doing good. The coaches feel different, but it's really a part of the athletic department. They feel like, hey, I don't think we need to play this team because it really may get run over. So we're just going to keep doing the tradition, and tradition is getting them no publicity. So that tradition needs to die down. And a team that they can add, I mean, the only team I can see in my eyes that will be a fit, probably like only South Carolina State.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's what I was going to say is like, you only have one team. So if you just add a bunch of these, I don't want to say garbage, these teams that add no value to your conference, all you're going to do is make it more complicated in one scheduling and divisions, because you can only have so many teams in a division. And so then you would have to go to the pod system, which is something the SEC is looking into. I don't know how many people know about that, but the pods are like, you had 4 pods for your conference. All 4 or 5 teams in the pod play each other. Then you play like 2 cross pod games, and then you got your 3 out of conference games. And then it already gets too complicated to try to get non-conference games. So then you're in the same boat, because adding all these teams, if you add no value to the conference, all you did was make it bigger, but the perception is still the same, is that no one respects that conference. So for me, you don't want to add anyone to the SWAC that doesn't bring in immediate value. And I guess the only 2 teams I could possibly see doing that, like you say, could be a South Carolina State, maybe a North Carolina A&T. But outside of those teams, everything else is just adds more bodies in a room rather than any real value.
Because A&T, they left, and I don't think they're going to come back. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna come back to the HBCU conference.
But that's why they left. I mean, they left on some other reasons too. But I mean, at the same time, them going to the Big South, them going to the Big South is for them to prove themselves, like that. Prove to them and prove to other people outside of them that we can compete with the big boys. And I don't care what nobody says. Yeah, you didn't put up no points at Kennesaw State, but they didn't blow you out. You know what I'm saying? 14-0. I mean, it like the game wasn't as, you know what I'm saying, but they didn't blow you out, and you know what I'm saying, and you can always build on top of that and go and take that and build on it. But hey, appreciate the call, my guy. Hey, caller, you live, talk to me.
It's your boy, man. What's up, my boy?
What's up, Smoke? Talk to me.
I want to get your interest on, Coach Prairie not gonna be coaching this weekend. Coach Gary gonna fill in for him. Last week I feel like the offense wasn't as creative as we've been looking for with Coach Taylor. We know Coach Taylor's a good offensive coordinator. Don't get me wrong, but I think this weekend may be a possibility that we could possibly see just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because last week I saw we ran a damn sleep flicker, and I didn't even notice it, and I was at the game. So that sleep flicker lets me know we got some stuff in the book that TC ain't ran yet. And so I feel like this weekend will possibly be the weekend that it could possibly show us, that there's a little bit more left in the pot that we hadn't seen. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's fair.
I just want your insight on that, and also about Coach, how you feel about Coach Gary filling in for Coach Prime this weekend.
All right, we're gonna answer it. I'm gonna let you go. Appreciate the call, Smoke.
Appreciate it.
All right. For me, listen, if I'm being honest, that first half was abysmal. If we're talking about play calling, it was horrible. I was the whole time I was watching the game, I said, this is nothing like what I saw at Alabama A&M. And I was actually pretty upset because I didn't see the motion. I didn't see the movement. I didn't see the creativity in the play formations that I saw against Alabama A&M. And everything just looked sharp and crisp. But I believe they was on a mission. So the game against Alabama State, I still didn't like the play calling, if I'm being honest. And I did like in the third and fourth quarter, they really noticed that their receivers were just winning. So they're like, hey, we're just gonna keep throwing on these dudes. We're not even really gonna try to get away from it. So I like the adjustment. But if I'm being honest, the play calling didn't wow me. So hopefully, do you need to pull everything out for Bethune? Probably not. But I just want to see more motion, more creativity, and just seeing more and better execution. That's for me. You guys can go from there.
Yeah, I don't know if Jackson State against Alabama and A&M put all the stops up because of the back and forth Deion had with their HC. So it's like, okay, they're getting a dynastic offense. We're going to show them what we can bring to the table. That's probably why they hired TC Taylor for that big matchup against Alabama State. It just felt like live that they were just trying to beat them straight up. Like, all right, we're going to drop back and throw it, and the offensive line just wasn't holding up. And the second half, they did the same. O line blocked a little better, but they established a little bit of rapport with the run. So I don't think against Bethune coming, they're going to pull out the kitchen sink. I think they're going to go through what they do. But hopefully they expand the playbook a little bit more to try to make Shador feel even more comfortable and utilize the weapons that they have on the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can pull out a few things, but if I'm TC, I'm not pulling out everything. Until I have to show my hand, I'm keeping it under wraps as long as possible. If I can get to the Southern and Alcorn game with all my creativity and everything still hidden, and they can't game plan for it, that's the best case scenario for Jackson State for me. So for them against overmatched opponents like they have right now, the goal is just to win right now. And so if you can do that running, 60% of your playbook, that's more credit to you. And the more wrinkles you can keep under wraps for those last two games, which are definitely going to be your toughest, the better. So I don't think he just absolutely opens up the playbook this weekend. He might show a few more wrinkles, but keep the really good stuff till when you need it.
Got you. Let me take a member's call real quick. Hey, Quince, talk to me.
Hey, how's it going, big man?
What's good?
Hey, first off, love it. What you guys do, keep doing it. But I did want to comment on Bethune-Cookman. Man, Bethune-Cookman versus Jackson State. BCU is not a bad team. Well, they're not a horrible team. Let me put that. I think, especially with some of the information that just came out, I understand why. They've been competitive like throughout the year to include even against University of Texas El Paso D1 teams. I think they had 2 D1 teams on their schedule. Well, but they've been competitive. But I think the only other thing is that, just like in basketball, you spend all your money on, your starting 5, and then all of a sudden you don't have a bench. And that was my assessment. And then after a news article came out stating that $1.3 million was cut from their funding within the last 2 years, well, in scholarship directly scholarship to football. So as if you may have, you have enough for your starters, but then after when you start going to the bench, that's the reason why I'm seeing these guys lose these fourth quarter games. I'm like, man, they always lose in the fourth quarter. Well, they gassed out. And I guess this one, it kind of hits, I guess I'm nowhere near BCU or Florida, Daytona, which is a good, heavy recruiting football state. But these guys, they're the only private institution within the SWAC, which is good for, I guess, holding the SWAC conference itself. It has the ability to hide their funds because it's a private funds and no longer a public institution. And that was the last, I guess that was being the only private institution since Paul Quinn.
All right, where you taking this cue? Where you going left, right? Where I need you to bring it home. Got to bring it home.
Okay, yeah. So I point is BCU was not a bad team. I know you guys like, man, a lot of guys saying you need to be fired. The coaches need to be fired. Man, guys, we're in the SWAC, man. With money, the coaches are on contract, and there's not a lot of, I guess, money in the pot pool where these guys do get fired. So what's your opinion for the panel on, you say, as far as the coaches being I would say replacing coaches because it's not that easy as you guys make it seem. And that's all I have. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. All right, my answer to that would be this: you know the job when you take it. All right, listen. Let's not fool ourselves. When you walk into a SWAC school or when you walk into a SWAC school and you take over these jobs that or these teams that weren't predominant and don't have a rich history of winning, you have to understand that I'm not Dion. I have to bring my own flair. I have to bring my own unique recruiting style, and I have to build my team my way and what I do with it. Now, does that lead to success? Probably not. Will that lead to wins? Probably not. But you have to take it as it comes. And for me, that doesn't take away from you being a good coach. People still respect Coach Dancy, and he doesn't win all the time. A good coach can let you can see a good coach, and you can want more for a good coach. And sometimes, at the end of the day, you got to get talent. I mean, you got to get talent. You know what I'm saying? So it comes down to recruiting and how well you do it. And I know, we can talk about finances and budget and all that, but once you take the job, man, I'm gonna treat you like a player on the field. If you're hurt and you're on the field, you ain't hurt. That's how my coach used to tell me. If you're on the field and you playing, you ain't hurt. So if you coaching, coach. All right, take your L like a man. Go ahead.
Yeah, the finances aspect is important because you're losing $2.1 million dollars in scholarships goes a long way in terms of building a competent recruiting class. But again, against Prairie View, they lost because they gave up the big plays and then they turned the ball over twice and they had a kick six. So miscues I think has hurt them the most this season, and it did in that matchup. So it really goes back to the coaching aspect. I think biggest thing coaches drill in football is don't give up the big plays and don't beat yourselves. And they did both of those things, and that's really not how you're going to be able to win football games at any level. So I think focusing on the little things in that aspect is important. And then also he said we're in the SWAC. To be honest, I mean, man, you going pretty well in the SWAC, and that's the team you dominated in your other conference historically. So look, the SWAC, like I stated, has improved and they've regressed, and so that's something they're going to need to work on in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, I don't know, I don't think that the only reason I don't think he should be fired, man, because if you're already cutting funding and they see the turmoil in in the administration, who are you going to hire? Who's going to leave a job? Who's going to take a job where the school doesn't value football?
Yeah.
And so you're probably going to get a downgrade regardless if you fire them. Yeah, you might get a diamond in the rough and find, this historic coach that just happens to come out of nowhere, but the odds of that are very close to zero. So for me, you're kind of stuck with them until the school recommits itself to football and funding recruiting and funding scholarships. And so for me, you got to stick with what you know. Sims has won some, at that school. You got to stick with them because I don't think you can get another coach that's an upgrade. And that's the number one thing I ask when people ask me, should this school move on? Should this school do this? Who are you hiring that's better than the coach you have? And that's a question that I think Bethune has to really look themselves in the face and figure out.
Yeah, facts. Good point, Blue. All right, let's get these last three callers. Hey, caller, you live. Talk to us. Question or comment. Keep it short.
Yeah, man. I was calling. I like the show. I think you're doing a good job, Scotty, man. Your show was raw. I mean, it was unrehearsed. I mean, you give we call you with questions and that you don't know anything about, and you give us unrehearsed answers.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I tell you, you're doing a good job, man. You look like you was made for this job. I like that hat you got on. You probably could talk your way out of a ticket in Georgia if you ran the red light.
Oh man!
But this is my question to you guys. I want to know what coaches you guys think are doing the worst job in the SWAC right now. The worst job with the most talent.
Hey, that's a tough one, but we're gonna answer. Hey, appreciate the call.
Who wants the first bullets on that one?
I'm taking that one. Cam, you the newbie, bro. Low man on the totem pole. Go ahead, take that one over, Cam. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm going to have to go to my home state. I think Southern. I mean, what they represented in the spring with Dawson. progress. They cut ties with him, thinking that we can go with somebody in house and that'll be fine. And then 5 weeks in, I'm hearing, dang, we should have got Marshall Falk. So they have too much talent to be this bad. We know what their offensive line represents. We know what the running game is. Stable of backs there. They found out that Bubba Daniels is the quarterback to go through, but defensively, there's tons of miscues. And then let's just look at what they've done schedule wise. Lose to Texas Southern, then you go back and beat UAPB pretty bad. And so, it's just been inconsistency all around. And in a year where Prairie View has gotten better with a roster not as talented as yours, or not as talented as what you represented, and Alcorn's still going strong despite all the turmoil they're going through. It's not a good look. I think Southern fans are going to get what they want. They're going to get a new coaching regime. It's just important that the new guy that comes in kind of builds upon that pedigree that's represented their organization for quite some time.
You want to do rock paper scissors, Blue? We can do rock paper scissors.
No, it's all good. I'll take it. I'll take the bullets, and I've already burnt my Jackson State bridge, so why not burn another one? It's got to be Maynard, man. I think it's got to be over there at Alabama A&M. You got the reigning SWAC Player of the Year. You got Gary Quarles leading the SWAC in rushing. You got the wide receiving core that's one of the deepest in the SWAC. And you had a SWAC All-American D lineman, and you let him walk right out the front door. And then your one thing you had to do, you knew you had to do, the number one thing was just don't let Glass get killed week in and week out. And you couldn't even do that. And you've had 3 straight weeks where I think all of us can say, as sad as it is, they got outcoached for 3 straight weeks against Grambling, against Jackson State, and against FAMU down the stretch. They failed to make any sort of adjustment, because how did they lose all 3 of those games? They didn't block a soul. They couldn't run the ball. They had the same offensive game plan 3 straight weeks and failed to execute a single thing. And they can't even pick up a motion correctly in week 6. Your whole defense doesn't even know they should shift when a guy comes in motion on the 2-yard line. And you're telling me that is the most atrocious coaching job in the country right now. And you have all this talent, and you're sitting at 1-3 in your division. And if you lose to Alabama State, I'm here to tell you, someone's got to lose their job. You should not be losing to Alabama State if you're Alabama A&M. So I'm going with Maynard, and I really don't think it's close.
I have to. Well, you brought the smoke on that one. The reason I disagree with you, Blue, is because of the question. He said with the most talent in doing the least, right?
Well, I would say A&M has the second most talent in the SWAC right now.
Offensively, they can go up against anybody. We have from the spring. We have never said anything good about their defense. So that's the only reason why I can't. I was kind of thinking it, but I was like, I've never said anything good about their defense. I've never said anything good about their defense. So when I heard the question, more with less, right? I look at it balancing. And for me, it has to be Alabama State, because we always knew you had a defense. We know you got a running game. Hickson, the receivers that you have are actually really surprising to me, because I didn't even think you had receivers, but they were giving Jackson State the work. The only thing you really are missing is a better offensive scheme and a quarterback. That's it. That's the only 2 things you're missing, because your defense is legit. Your offensive line is legit. We saw how they blocked up Jackson State that first half. They're legit. So for me, it has to be Alabama State because of the balance that they have on both sides of the ball, and you're not seeing it translate to wins. So that would be my thing. If Maynard had half of what Alabama State had defensively, I would be on the same bandwagon with you. I'll be over there picking in with you. But it's just the lack of defense. They've only been able to win games because of the offensive play of the style.
Well, the only question I would ask you guys is this, and I think this might prove my point a bit, because I don't know if anyone's thinking about this. Who do you blame for 2 of the 3 losses? The Grambling loss was on the offense. That was a Keel Glass all day, every day, and that was putting the defense inside. They put the defense with 5 possessions inside the red zone for Grambling. Okay, so that's on the offense. And then the FAMU loss last week, Akil Glass threw for Akil Glass threw for 199 yards.
Defense, though, if I put up 31 points, on you, I'm supposed to win that game. And you're
seven of them was from the defense. 7 was from the defense.
Okay, 24. So I because the field goal, right? So 24 plus the 7 from the defense. So I put 24 points up on you. It's 16-24 going into the fourth quarter. They get the lucky score, and it's 23, 20. It'll be 23-24. So you still got to go down and do whatever or however. But the defense still has to. You still got to stop somebody.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But in the second half, they didn't run the ball at all. You got a 18-point lead, and they averaged like 1.5 yards per carry, like in the second half. And in the first half, they were scoring and scoring and scoring. And I don't even know if you can give them credit for 24 because they also had a pick from McKay that gave A&M the ball inside their territory. So I don't put that on the defense. You keep setting them like they were set up perfectly to score that one, and FAMU's defense gave up a touchdown. I just think down the stretch, you got the best offense in the SWAC, an 18-point lead, and you can't move the football or score in the fourth quarter.
Okay, and you're talking about the same defense that 2 weeks ago shut out Alabama State, made South Carolina State.
I got you.
7. So they weren't even. If we're being honest, I didn't even expect Alabama A&M to score that much. I didn't expect them to score 24 because I'm thinking like they gonna wreck shop like Jackson State came in there and wreck shop. You get what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. I listen. You had a chance to go win the game. Akil blows it, throws a pick. It's on him. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, but you still got to be able to stop somebody. I'm sorry, Cam. You got anything to say?
Yeah, really want to break down those 3 games Google had talked about. I felt like the Grambling one was on Akil. I felt like the JSU one was on coaching because I don't think anybody was prepared. And then I feel like the FAMU game is really on the team just collapsing down the stretch in the fourth quarter. You know, Akil hasn't really played well against elite defensive competition this year, but I think a lot of it has to do with Maynard just setting his ways of feeling like, I have my personnel offensively. We're going to go out there and we're going to play how I designed this offense to play. But I don't really think that they're good enough. Their line is just not good enough for Akil to drop back, considering that he's not the most elusive or fastest guy. They're not good enough to drop back and just run deep routes all the time. They have to shorten the routes up, have to incorporate the draw, the quick passing game, bubble screen, something. And they haven't done that consistently enough against top-tier defenses, which is why these games are just blown out of control. And, yeah, I'm not going to say that they're the most disappointing team coach-wise because they still don't have a defense. I feel like they were still going to lose to Jackson State anyway because they couldn't stop JSU. But I think with better offensive game planning, they beat Grambling and they probably.
That's real. That's real. All right, let me take these last 2 callers. What's up, Mr. Ford? Talk to me.
Okay. Basically, I called in to pose a question to Cam. But let me just say this to your followers. Don't be surprised if Eric Dooley is in Southern. There's a lot of Southern people, especially the old head, diehard Southern people. They want Eric Dooley to come back to Southern. He was a part of the Pete Richardson dynasty. He knows the lay of the land. They know him. So don't be surprised at that.
Hey, Mr. Ford, real
Y'all
quick.
are wrong.
Hold on, Mr. Ford, real quick. Let me ask you a question about that. Now, let me ask you a question about that. 2 questions, honestly. Okay, so Eric Dooley goes to Southern. Do you keep Zach Grossi? Even though Eric Dooley's an offensive-minded guy, do you keep Zach Grossi? That's my first question. And my second question is, if a celebrity coach comes in, or let's say a high-level coach, somebody from the Power 5, or a celebrity, do you pick them over Eric Dooley, in your personal opinion? Go ahead.
Okay. First, with that Zach Grossi needs to be a head coach in this SWAC. Okay, I know that you know that's all right for people to have him as a offensive coordinator. He's ready to be a head coach. This guy's got he's got a track record from the NFL, and this guy's been here. And it's time for him to listen. I'd like to see him get Alabama State. Okay, Zach Grossi needs to be a head coach. What was that second question, Scott? I'm sorry. That second question you asked.
The second question is would you take a celebrity coach or a Power 5 coach over an Eric Dooley? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
You know, I like experienced people. What I do is I look at people's resumes, and if that resume says championship, that's what I want. Now, when I talk to the people at Southern, most of the people at Southern didn't want that guy you talking about that went to San Diego State. That was the pro. What was his name? The kid from New Orleans. That's the Hall of Fame.
Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk.
When I talked to the people at Southern, the stakeholders down there said they didn't want nobody like Deion Sanders. They didn't want nobody to have that kind of power. That was one of the reasons Rollins got the job. They said they didn't want that. Okay, so I'm like, Scotty, you know me and you done talked about this. I still say that Alabama State should go and talk to Jay Hobson, okay, at who's at Mississippi State. Those are the kind of people I want. Okay, how about you? There's a guy that's an Auburn graduate. He's down at Texas A&M. He was a quarterback for Auburn.
Craig?
What's his name?
Damian Craig? Are you talking about Craig?
He's like the quarterback coach or something down there.
That's Craig.
Texas A&M. He's the kind of guy I'd like to bring back in the SWAC. We need quality championship coaches in the SWAC. I don't want no celebrities just because they're a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? You gonna go get Ed Reed and them just because he played for the Baltimore Ravens? I done told y'all there's a difference between coaching and playing. Okay? Bill Belichick, did he play anything?
No.
But he's one of the greatest coaches of all time.
All right, Mr. Ford.
So
But
I know you're ready for me to get off, Scotty, but let me ask Cam this. Cam, in your honest opinion, can this kid, Jawan Pass, play in the NFL?
I don't know. I think it's really conducive in terms of how he is as a passer in the intermediate aspect and on the boundaries. And right now, it's not good enough, in my opinion. So he's going to have to work on that. And what we've seen NFL-wise the past few years, in the past when it came to a quarterback coming into the league with limitations, it was always a death sentence if they couldn't be able to actively throw the football on the boundaries. If that's something you came into the league with, there was a high chance you would improve on that. But we're seeing with guys like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, you can make those requisite improvements, whether that's your coaching staff getting in your ear or you having your own quarterback whisperer in the offseason to improve on that. So if Pass can work on his boundary passing and become much more proficient in the middle of the field, he has a shot because he has the measurables in the arm strength. And we're in a league now where
he kind of reminds me of the quarterback that Grambling had before Doug Williams. His name was Sugar Shack Harris with Shack Harris. That's who he kind of reminds me of.
Yeah, we're in a league where they're trying out all aspects of quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts has a job opportunity in Philadelphia. Baker Mayfield, and we know what Lamar represents. And when this upcoming draft comes along, Malik Willis is a chance. There's a chance he goes first off the board. He has a powerful arm and dynamic running ability. So the league will be in armor by your athleticism and then your arm. Everything else, they're going to hope that your offensive coordinator and the guys in your corner can work on everything else and put everything together. So he got a shot, but as of right now, I don't think he's NFL caliber person.
Hey, preacher.
Hey, I know you're getting ready to put me off. Listen, somebody just put it in the chat. That guy's name is Damian Craig. I would love for that guy to be a head coach in the SWAC because he know his stuff. He went to Auburn. He trained under Willie Slater at Tuskegee. He went down to Florida State under Jimbo Fisher. He went to LSU, I think, for a minute before Coach O got there. He's down at Texas A&M. He would be great in the SWAC as a head coach. So I'm saying to you again, that Zach, a guy you talking about at Southern, bump him being an offense coordinator. I'd like to see him be a head coach.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all have a good night.
You too, Mr. Ford.
All right.
All right. So I'm gonna say one thing before I take this final caller. I would take Ed Reed over Eric Dooley any day. I'm sorry, listen. I don't care what you're talking about. Listen, at the end of the day, it's about one, getting butts in seats and getting recruits. And you're going to get recruits if Ed Reed is your head coach. Stop with all this. Oh, I want coaching experience. Deion had never coached in college ball. If you get a great staff and you know he bringing the Miami boys with him, okay, can we say that? Listen, it's about to be a whole Miami reunion in Southern, okay? So let's not act like he can't make phone calls and get some high-level coaches in staff with him at Southern. So for me, I'm taking Ed Reed over Eric Dooley every day and twice on Sunday. Y'all can speak on that.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had a Southern person reach out to me on Instagram about this and said that they don't want a celebrity coach, that they think that Southern isn't going to stoop down and grab a celebrity coach. I don't know if that's the way to do it, especially with Ed Reed being involved. I'm pretty sure he has something to do with like player personnel at Miami right now.
Yeah,
so he's been in a program, everything like that. But the question I have, and I think someone put it in the chat, I think it was SWAC fans, is we don't want to hire inexperienced celebrities, but Damian Craig's never even been a coordinator, but now he's going to go lead an entire program. And when he was at Auburn, it was the worst receiving like production that Auburn's ever had at wide receiver. So yes, he's one hell of a recruiter, but why are we saying that celebrity coaches aren't good enough, but we're going to just go hire awesome assistants who have never, head coach anywhere? I mean, that's just my thoughts on that, but y'all can talk about that.
Yeah, I just think it's Southern's fan base. It's pride talking right now. I think historically they're looking at it as we haven't needed a celebrity to come in and change this program. We've gotten hard-nosed coaches from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s that help us get to where we need to go. But it's a different ballgame right now. And bottom line in college football, your ability to recruit matters. And what Dion brings to the table as a recruiter is game-changing for the SWAC conference. So if Southern feels like they're right at the door in terms of they have solid talent there that went on tap, that can be further on tap with better coaching staffs that's different from what they have now. Get a guy like an Ed Reed that can come in and can recruit some game changers that can help challenge you to Jackson State, because honestly, as long as Dion's here, you're gonna have to out recruit JSU to have a chance. I don't think you can get away with just being able to get Sean McVay as coach to come in. You can just screw something on the drawing board and then it can just work out on every Saturday. You're gonna have to get some game changers through the transfer portal or being able to tap into the recruiting aspect. And if Ed Reed can come in and make that happen, make it happen. But
this is the thing that's killing me with these Bamas in the comments, right? I'm not asking Ed Reed to be Dion. Okay, there's only one Deion Sanders. All right. What I'm asking Ed Reed is that 4-star that you guys are keep crying about that's going to Southern Miss, that's going to Coastal Carolina, that's going to ULM, and them 3 stars that you're missing out on, those are now coming to Southern because of Ed Reed. That's what you're missing out on. I'm not asking Ed Reed to be Dion. I'm not asking him to be in Aflac commercials. I'm not asking him to be on Pepsi. I'm not asking that. All right. What I'm simply saying is the kids you're missing out on, now you probably won't, or now you get a better shot because now Ed Reed is sitting at head coach and you got a high level safety in the portal. And he's like, okay, go to Coastal Carolina or go get coached by Ed Reed. Not even a discussion. It's the same thing with a Dejon Nugget. Go to Georgia or go get coached by the greatest DB of all time or one of the top 5 safeties of all time. You know, like, come on, man. What y'all Bama's be killing me with that crap, man. For real. Don't make sense. Stop it. Hey, Blake, you last. What's up? Wrap it up. What you got? Hit me with it.
What's going on, Cat Daddy? You're looking like Dapper Dan with that purple and gold on over there. Okay, now that I got that out the way, this is Mr. Who That Nigga on there, reporting live from the couch. First and foremost, Screw, I just want you to know, you done fucked up, right? We know that. The people know that. Everybody know that you picking Texas Southern over Alcorn. That's like a home game. Alcornites are deep down there in Texas, so let's get it straight. You hear live here first. Scribb is going to take that L, from his prediction that Texas Southern is going to be Alcorn. Oh, so this is what I really want to get to. Scribb, you always say that Shadur is slippery slow.
Slippery slow.
Like I've been want to say this. Like he got that like that Paul Pierce, game down it. It's like it's just so slow.
I like that.
It's like and they take them for granted and be like, whoop, and just gonna slip down. And so, Blue, my guy. The people want to know, is that purple drink, purple Kool-Aid, or Pepsi you got in that cup over there? You can take a minute to answer that. I just want to let the people know this is Mr. Who That Nigga on that NAD. I do voiceovers or whatever. Hey, I'm putting myself out there. Get that money. Blake, y'all holler at the guy. Y'all have a good one.
Hey, you too, Blake. Appreciate it. That boy is stupid. What you got in the cup, Blue? Let him know.
Hey, well, it's just Pepsi, man. We'll just go with that.
Oh man. All right. I do like that comparison though of Paul Pierce. I do like that comparison because he does have that slow, methodical type game, and he'll still get by you. And you be like, how? You so slow. But man, listen, the slipperiest slow dude ever. The slipperiest slow dude ever. Now, if you guys anything you guys want to end on or talk about before we get up out of here? Guess that's a no.
No, we good, man, because we know we know if we take more calls, what it's going to turn into.
Oh
So,
no, no, that was definitely the last caller. Yeah. Let me get the hell. He said, Scotty, you're killing me. We taking these posters as being experts about who Southern will hire at the end of the season. Listen, bro, everybody has a listen. Your comment is not the granddaddy. So just because you think you was probably the same Bama rooting for Rollins. Oh, we got let Odoms go. Bring in Rollins, and now y'all looking stupid. Dumb. All right. That's one. Two, your comment is not the granddaddy of them all. Everybody has an opinion. All right. It's like assholes. Everybody has one. Stop it. All right. So listen, guys. Appreciate you for tuning in. Hey, Cam. Thank you, my guy, for coming in. And make sure you guys go check out his podcast. It's called Independent Intel Podcast on Spotify and Apple. And you already know my man Blue, the boy wonder. Go get to his channel, subscribe. He also has a podcast as well. And you already know who you've been hanging with. It's your boy Scotty. You've been watching Off Script. And until next time, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to holler. God bless.